Hi friends! This video is covering alliteration and hyperbole from our figurative language packet. Remember how in class the other day we kind of did a deep dive in on similes and metaphors? Well, this time we're going to be covering alliteration and hyperbole. Now I have attached the notes page for what you need to jot down for alliteration and for hyperbole. Remember, we already covered the definitions of all of these figurative language terms when we had them on our spelling and vocab list the other week. But this, remember, like I said, this is a nice reference packet of all of the figurative language we're going to be covering. We're doing them two at a time, breaking them down and really doing a closer focus on them. So this video is for after you have copied in your notes, because I'm just going to read through these a little more quickly, because I'm hoping that as you watch this, you've already taken down the notes for alliteration and hyperbole. If not, maybe you want to do it along with the video. Either way, please get those notes in on the page. I will be checking them for a grade, okay? Then after I just go through the definitions, I'm going to explain the alliteration task that you're going to do and the hyperbole task that you are going to do. Sound good? Okay, so on your alliteration and hyperbole page, you would have seen from the photo that the definition we had you fill in was the repetition of the same beginning letter or beginning letter sound for alliteration. Because remember, some letters share the same sounds. For example, a C could make a K sound, right? So if there is a sentence like Kyle and Kate cooked carrots with Karen, who also cooked kale, there's a mixture of C's and K's that you would have seen in that sentence from what you wrote down from the picture that I sent to you for the notes page, right? Then there's other letters. They don't share the same letter sound. So for example, with the L, there's no other letter that makes the L sound. The example I put down was Lucy loves lollipops, licorice, and Labrador retrievers, right? In that case, it was just the repeating first letter of L instead of the repeating first letter sound K between the K and the C from the other example. Now, there were other examples they included on the page as well, like Sarah saw a silly seal on Saturday, or we wander through the wild woods in search of wonder. Alliteration is fun to use, and like all the other figurative language terms, we are going to be discussing it a little bit all throughout the year, okay? So hopefully you got those notes in. If you're planning to do it after the video, okay, great, but make sure you have them. Remember, I will be checking these for a grade. Next on the page right below was hyperbole. This is just a fun one to say. It looks like hyperbole, but remember, it is not pronounced that way. It's hyperbole. So the definition that I had you write down for that was an extreme exaggeration, like hashtag dramatic, okay? Someone is kind of stretching the truth a little bit. Now, we do this all the time. We use a lot of figurative language in our everyday speech and writing without even realizing we're doing it. But I wager to bet that we use hyperbole a lot more than we actually realize we do. For example, have you ever said something to the effect of, ugh, that homework took forever? Well, did it actually take forever? No. Or that car ride took a bajillion years. Did it actually take a bajillion years? If your stomach starts to quake and make some noises, you might say something like, oh, I'm starving, when really you had a snack maybe an hour or two ago. So are you actually starving? No, but you're trying to make a point, a very strong point, and so therefore you put an exaggeration on it. So for hyperbole, it's an extreme exaggeration. Now, the examples that you would have seen me give you to write in your notes, unless you're doing it after this video, and so you will see, says, she is so smart, but we had to change that. We had to change it into a hyperbole. So the extreme exaggeration that I made to make this statement a hyperbole was, she is the smartest girl on planet Earth. Is she actually? No, that's an extreme exaggeration. So that's how we took she is so smart to she is the smartest girl on planet Earth. Now, the next example that we had to take and make exaggerated was your locker is so messy. That's just a plain statement, right? Well, we can turn it into a hyperbole by saying something like, that's the messiest locker in the history of all lockers ever. That is an extreme exaggeration, right? There were some other examples that they already gave us that you don't have to write in because it's already on the page. That say, our teacher gave us 2 years of homework tonight. Really? No. That's just their way of saying, oh, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of time to finish all this homework. There's also one that says, your car is so old, there are hieroglyphics inside. Hieroglyphics is a type of writing used by ancient Egyptians. So they're basically saying, your car's super old, but they're definitely exaggerating when they talk about how old. So like I said, those notes should already be on your page. If you're waiting to copy the notes from the document that I sent you to do that after the video, great, make sure you do that. Now I'm going to explain what you need to do